Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is CJ, welcome to Exotic Nootropics. Today I'm going to be taking you through my process of potting up Nepenthes seeds. A lot of people do it in slightly different ways. Nepenthes are a notoriously hard seed to actually keep alive, especially after they germinate. So this is a whole new kind of process to me. I'm very much a learner when it comes to this. But the first thing that we've done is we've got these tubs right here, which we get our crickets in for the lizards and for the frogs. And I've washed them all out, and now I've got some isopropyl alcohol here, which if you're below the age of 18, please get an adult to help you if you're going to use this method. This is basically going to sterilize everything, so you want everything to be as sterile as possible. This isn't tissue culture, so you are not going to get it completely sterile, which is unfortunate. And there is potential for mold issues if you let it stay too wet and a bunch of other complications. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our paper towel, which is right here. We're just going to rip off a square. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bunch it up like that, because I don't need too much. I am going to knock the camera every now and then. And we're going to take the isopropyl alcohol, open it up, and we're just going to dab the isopropyl alcohol onto the kitchen towel. And then we're going to take our tub and we're just going to wipe it over, basically. Try and kill as much bacteria as we can. There's going to be bacteria on the seeds, so I mean, there's no perfect way of doing this, unfortunately, unless you're doing it with tissue culture. If you do it with tissue culture, then that's a whole different ball game and a whole different story, and you'll probably get much better propagation if you do it correctly. But as of right now, we do not have a tissue culture lab, so we will need to come back to that one. We'll do one first, just for the video, and then I'll sort the other one off camera. So this is what we've got right here. This is now completely covered in alcohol. I'm going to let it dry for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, just to make sure that the alcohol evaporates, because I don't want it in the mixture, to be honest. So I'm just going to let that happen, and then I'll come back and we'll go over the next step. The next step's pretty simple. What we've got here is we've got some sphagnum moss, which I've gone through and I've chopped up. Now, I believe you can buy milled sphagnum moss, which a lot of people use. But basically, if you've got long fiber sphagnum, then you just want to cut it down as much as you possibly can. Get it as small as you can. I used a pair of scissors that I rubbed alcohol on to make sure that they were sterile, and I just chopped through them all. You can then boil this to get rid of any impurities that are in it. And then obviously I've bagged it up, ready to go. So that's where we currently are. But I'm slightly different to other people in many, many ways. But in this way is, I also use cocoa coir, which I don't think a lot of people use. A lot of people just use sphagnum, and they use long fiber at the bottom, and then they use milled sphagnum at the top. Down here I've got some cocoa coir, which you cannot see because the bag's huge. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some cocoa coir, and this is where you notice you can't have everything sterile, right? This is not tissue culture. Tissue culture is completely different. It doesn't use soil, it doesn't use any natural media, it's all chemicals, and provides the seeds with everything that they need. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to shove this in there, and I've just dropped a bit of it, but it's fine, I'll clean up after. So I'm going to get our cocoa coir, we're just going to shove it straight in. Try and be as careful as we can. Obviously, you do not need a very deep layer of this, because it's a seed that you're trying to germinate. It's not going to have massive roots. I mean, no Nepenthes really has massive roots, but they obviously need a deeper substrate than what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to spread it out until there's an even layer on the bottom. And once we have that, we'll start mixing in our sphagnum. I'm going to put one more in, and then I think we're good to go. So it's really, really a tiny, tiny layer of cocoa. There's really not much at all. Right, I'm going to call that good. So this is how deep the cocoa is right now. Oh, sorry, over the camera. So it's just camera focus. There we go. So it's just up to there. It's obviously uneven, but there's a nice little layer of it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the sphagnum moss to it. I'm not going to add all of it, I don't think. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much I need to add, but I'm just going to sprinkle it on top, basically. How much of the bag? We can probably use half a bag and then half a bag in the next one. Some of it's finer cut than other bits. It's very like dry, extremely dry, so it's all static. And then what I actually do is I mix it up with the cocoa coir, which is very, very different to what most other people do. So I'm just going to mix this up and then spread it out, flatten it down. Other Nepenthes people will probably be watching this like, what? Why? This doesn't make any sense. And it's literally just because I've had some success with it. So as a beginner, I see success and I take what I can, basically. Right, now I'm just going to pat it all down because you want a nice flat area for the seeds to germinate on. Okay, so that's nice and compressed now. We've got little bits of area that don't have much media, but it's fine. Right, it's nicely compressed down, which is exactly what we want. Cool. Okay, right. So now all we need to do is add our seed. I just realised I left the alcohol open. That's not a smart idea. And something people do in tissue culture is they swirl the Nepenthes seeds in hydrogen peroxide, and they do that to take off all the impurities that are on the seed. Someone that I was speaking to told me that will kill your entire batch if you do it this way. I don't believe that. I think what happens is it stops them from germinating very quickly, and I think it just takes longer. But I'm yet to see that. I've got some that are currently growing that have been sprayed with isopropyl because they had a mold issue. So we'll see what happens with those. So in here, we're going to be putting truncata seeds. We've got three pods of truncata seed. There's a third one. Ooh. Basically, these have been stored incorrectly this week, so they've got wet, and so I need to sow them. That's what we're going to do right here. They are in a Chin-chan bag for some reason, but it's fine. So you need to be really careful because seeds, especially Nepenthes seeds, they go everywhere if you're not careful. And you want to try and make sure that you are evenly spreading them across the media. So let's try and be careful here. And I will show you the Nepenthes seeds because not many people actually get to see Nepenthes seeds. So please focus. Come on, camera. Really? You're going to focus there? Alright. Well, that's about as close as I can get, apparently. So you can see they've got a huge embryo in the middle of the seed. If I don't want to grab one, really. But hopefully you can see there's little like black bulges. Those are the embryos. So these are nicely fertile seeds, nice and fat, should be good germination. The longer you keep Nepenthes seeds off the plant, the less likely they are to germinate. So you got to be very, very careful with how long you keep them before you sow them. I've had these for about 2-3 weeks, so they are slightly longer than I would like to keep them, but then all I do is I just start tapping to just spread them over. This is not an exact science. Some people definitely have a better way of doing it than this, because you can see it's just kind of a mess when I do it. And you can end up with clumps as well. So I'm just going to move it back down to the middle, and we're just going to really try our best to just carefully spread everything out. And there goes the clump. You can do it yourself with your fingers if you really want. And then we just smack the rest of them in. So that was actually a huge pod. So it's almost covered the entire thing, which you can't see. Hold on, let me see if I can. There you go. All of those seeds are now all over the media. They're actually spread out really nicely. I will put one more in here. It's annoying but it's awesome when you get this amount of seeds, right? Because sometimes Nepenthes pods you get barely any seeds, other times you get a ton of seeds. And obviously in this case, I've looked out and got a ton of seeds, but I don't have that much room to be able to grow this amount of seeds. In fact, these I'm going to have to create a growing... Oh my god, I've really messed up that one. Look at that. Torn it like an idiot. I'm going to have to create a grow environment for them because I don't have anywhere right now. So I'll have to deal with this one as I go. Again, really fat embryos on this. These are all from the same plant. It's just trying to make sure you've got as much coverage as you can. There's a lot of loss that happens with Nepenthes seeds. That's why they're quite rare plants in the wild. Well, that, and obviously a lot of them grow in places that you can't even get to. Okay, this is a ton of seeds. Oh my gosh. Let's just rip that open to get the last few out. Okay, cool. We've got huge clumps in here again. Just massive clumps of seeds. There are some with really not much of an embryo on them. It's very hit and miss, right, what we're looking at. You can see I just accidentally blew them and they move. It's really want to make sure they're down on the media. Really press them in, make sure they've got contact. You want as much contact as possible. Move some of them from over there to over there. Just try and really make sure you're using them to their full potential. Okay, right. I need to go and get some reverse osmosis water, which we use for the aquarium upstairs. It's basically water with no nutrients in it. It's completely filtered. I'm going to use that. I have used rainwater in the past, but I just think rainwater, unless it's boiled, it's got all sorts of impurities in it. It's just better to use RO, I think. So I'm going to do that this time, which is slightly different to what I do normally. Some people will 100% put more seeds in here than what I've done. It turns out I do not have a sterile spray bottle to use for RO water, and the RO water for the aquarium comes in a huge bottle, which is not going to be good to pour on top of these. What we're going to do is use rainwater, like I said I've used in the past. I've had success with it, it's no problem. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray it on the lid, see how it's spraying. Yeah, it seems to be spraying okay. So I'm just going to basically spray all of these down, make sure they're in contact with the media. That's the general idea. Get them very packed into the media. It's kind of spraying everywhere because this spray bottle's trash, but Okay. Just going to give them a decent amount of water just to pack everything down. Alright, that looks like we're about done with that. Let's see. So we've got the water on the lid, which I just sprayed. You can see here everything is nicely packed into the soil at this point. So we're good to go. I will show you probably the setup that I do for these, because it's going to need another light. But as of right now, because they're very, very new, I close the lid and I leave it closed and I basically shove it under a light, and that's how I do it. So I'll see you guys when I have planted the other seeds and created the enclosure for them, just so you can see what I did. Okay, so this is where we're at. I've moved some plants out of this box that you can see in front of you. I use these quite a lot. These are Wham crystal boxes. This one's a 45-litre box. We're just going to do exactly the same with the alcohol. We're just going to go ahead and wipe it down, make sure it's got no crap in it, as it had loads of plants in it. We need our kitchen towel again. This is probably going to need more than just the small amount that was needed to actually plant the seeds. So I'm just going to dab it on twice and be careful. Probably going to speed through this so you don't have to deal with it. That'll do for now, and then we'll just let it dry, get that alcohol evaporated off, and then we will start putting things in. As I kind of keep saying, space around here is a premium, so this is now where we're at. All the seeds are down in there, and the camera is refusing to focus. Let's do it manually so we actually have an idea. Alright, so everything's now down in there. We've got truncata and Veitchii truncata seeds, and they should now just grow underneath this big grow light that has been put on top. I'll show you around the side if I can. It's obviously dark now. I just knocked a plant. That's never a good idea. What we got down here. See, there's not even space in here to have them completely flat, but it's fine because they're in humid enclosures. So all I've done is written on top what they are, and then this box is now closed and has a grow light on top of it. And that's it. That is how I grow them. What I'm going to quickly do is show you some that have actually germinated, so that you know that I'm not lying. As the Nepenthes community is quite small, there will be people who think this is absolutely balmy and this will not germinate any seeds. I'm just going to show you down here. These are germinating Nepenthes seeds. So it does in fact work. This method works. It may not be completely conventional, but we have seedlings here, so it does work. We also have some banana seeds here, which are just going mental. In fact, I need to open the lid on that, because in fact, I need to move those, I think, because they're getting a little bit dry. So these are all Drosera banana seeds. There's lots of them. So we've got lots of seedlings coming up, and there's some other things in this box as well. But yeah, that is what I do when it comes to planting Nepenthes, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you have success. They're extremely hard to deal with. Good luck. My name's been CJ. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.